Okay, let's focus on some protocols. So the first question is asking you to what protocol would you use to request a news web page from a web server? Well, the most logical choice here would be HTTP. Now, I could potentially use HTTPS instead. Either answer would give you the marks. The second question, entering a username password to access bank account. Again, this is going to be through most likely a web browser. It definitely be using HTTP, but actually, very specifically, because it's dealing with username password, it has to be secure, doesn't it? Especially if I'm accessing a bank account. Okay, so this one, the only answer is HTTPS. Download text document from web server. This is slightly ambiguous because it's a web server. I could use HTTP. Absolutely no reason I couldn't. I could also, like the first question, use HTTPS, or I could use a file transfer protocol, FTP. So FTP, I think, is kind of what they were trying to get at, but in the mark scheme, you could have put HTTP or HTTPS. It's completely fine. The last one, checking for new emails. Now, if you remember, there are two protocols you use for this one. It doesn't really give you any more detail other than accessing new emails. So you could go for POP or POP3, or you can go for IMAP. Again, either would give you the mark. The next question, say two reasons why protocols have layers. The marks given this is very specific, and there's lots of things you could write down, but you only need two. So the most obvious ones are that the layers are developed independently. And that is because I could, if I wanted to, work on the application layer. And because I'm doing that, and this will be the second point, is changing one layer does not impact or change the others. So it allows me to isolate what change I'm doing. So if I'm changing the application layer, that won't change the transport layer, as an example. For layers questions, the answers are pretty much always the same. So this is something you just need to kind of like revise over for choosing the right protocol, knowing what each protocol does, and those key terms is the key to doing this, because you can just look at the task and you pick one. And because there's choices for almost all of them, you can write one out of maybe 2 or 3 choices.